Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you're like me, are you tired of paying taxes? I'm beyond exhausted paying taxes. And in Canada, or at least in my neck of the woods, I'm hit with taxes coming from everywhere. My income tax, sales tax, school tax, property taxes. By the time all is said and done, I might have every dollar I make, I got about 25 to 30 cents in my pocket. That's the reality of being a homeowner today in Montreal. But you see, Ron DeSantis has come up with this idea of how to make Florida better. He may be a FAGA guy for all I know, make Florida great again, or a MAFA guy, or whatever they're calling it. And essentially what he's trying to do now is an idea, is throwing it out there, is that not only do we not have any personal income tax, but what if we got rid of property taxes? And yes, it's creating a lot of noise because, hey, how are we going to pay for education? Hey, how are we going to pay for all these other things? And again, the rumblings are, there we go again, we're going to put this on the backs of the poor. I don't think DeSantis is that stupid, but it is leading to very, very interesting conversations on how Ron DeSantis wants to handle Florida. By contrast, how a potential candidate in New York City wants to handle the biggest city in the United States. Everybody, welcome back. We are the Rant Network. I am David Solomon. He is Stuart Brisgell. We love this unedited, unfiltered, uncensored, and certainly unapologetic rant. We talk about everything to do with modern life, politics, culture, you name it, and so much more. These are our opinions. And although sometimes we sound better than the media and more rational than the media, we bring up some thoughts and ideas that will make you go, So sit back today as we get into this deep issue on how people should be handling taxes and how government should be looking at it. Stuart, you're a financial advisor. You work with a lot of individuals who invest a lot of money. They're always looking for ways to pay less taxes. And it's not about being cheaters and criminals and doing all these things, but there are rules in the tax code that for wealthier people, they can do more and have to pay less. But what do you think about this idea? I mean, you as a Floridian, what do you think of this idea that you wouldn't have to pay property taxes anymore?
Well, okay. So David, true to form, I'm going to give you some background and then I'm going to give you some spin.
Welcome back to the history lesson, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it's not history. It's just facts. Florida owner occupiers are about 70%. Renters about 30%
of the population
of the entire state of Florida.
Okay.
New York City, it's 52%, owners, about 50-50, pretty close to it. 55-45, we'll give it, right? And the same in California. So the Democrats say we want to tax the rich, They've got the cars, the planes, the trains. They go out for lavish dinners. They go out to eat every night. They buy lots of clothes, expensive clothes. So where I don't seem to find the logic, David, is why the Democrats haven't started this whole proposal.
Because they need more money to spend money.
No, David, no. Incorrect.
What?
Well, I'm going to flip this on you. Economic efficiency of growth based on consumption tax is a long-term efficiency against people spending and wasting. In other words, it encourages really good habits because a distributional effect is that people will buy less, Coca-Cola because it just costs more. That's the behavioral impact of this. And statistically, they did this in San Francisco, where they put a soda tax, and it led to 35% less.
Yeah, but that's not the same thing.
No. It is the exact same thing because here's the bottom line: it forces people to be more prudent in their day-to-day purchases. However, the rich who are lavish and don't care continue to buy more. Therefore, they pay their fair share as they consume it. And the argument that the Democrats have, David, is just blown up with this. One of the biggest obstacles in home ownership is the tax on the house.
Yep.
Now, okay, so now we make houses more affordable for lower and middle class people. We take it even one step further. I believe that this would increase home ownership in the state of Florida.
Yep. Agreed.
Right. So that is the platform of the Democratic Party. Like, David, I sound like I'm a Democrat now because progressive tax versus consumption tax curtails waste amongst everyone, and the rich pay their fair share. I am sounding just like Mondavi in New York. Stop. I sound just like this Mondavi in New York. I sound just like AOC. I sound just like Chuck Schumer. I want them to pay their fair share. However, the reason how I know I'm 100% right, the Democrats don't want this, is because this is the only way to level the playing field from the rich to the poor. But wait a second, David. Didn't we discuss Nancy Pelosi's tax strategies and investment strategies? Being people invest, follow her and mirror her and up double digits. The reason why the government doesn't want to change the rules for me and putting this presumptive tax on our consumption is because they want to be able to spend money and not pay their fair share. And the Republicans have actually found a mousetrap that's just as bad for the Democrats as no tax on tips, no tax on Medicare. I've got to tell you, David, I think DeSantis, after spending 3 seconds processing this and pulling up some statistics, DeSantis not only has the holy grail to get the entire country to want to come to Florida or be like Florida, it is ridiculous. David, I'm sorry.
No. I think that we okay. I hear where you're going, but I like what I hear. Like in terms of the philosophy, first of all, congratulations to Florida. Like if you're already thinking of different and creative ways of changing how you collect money from people, awesome. The argument the Dems are going to make and the left is going to make is again, a Republican putting all the burden on the poor, on those on the lower income, on those that don't have housing, It's going to be on and on and on and on, and it's going to be nauseating to hear it again. But it's ironic because if you look at who's put more taxes on, it's been the Democrats who put more taxes on the lower income and on the poor. But we can't say that. What's scary about what Mamdani is going to do in New York City is raise taxes. He's going to say, I'm going to tax the crap out of the rich so that the poor can benefit because I'm going to control grocery stores. We're going to do all this we're going to all this free housing and all these kind of free. But free is not free, people. Controlled is not just controlled. It's controlled to a point where it doesn't make economic sense. And this is the problem. Socialist policies that Mamdani, AOC, Bernie Sanders, and many in the Democratic Party who call themselves progressives are not about taxing the rich. Yes, it will impact the rich, but again, it's the middle class and the lower income families that are going to get supremely hurt. If you think now $9 eggs is tough, wait till it goes to $12 because that's where Mamdani is heading. Because you cannot create the way prices go down isn't by controlling them, it's by competition. Take a look at gas stations. If you put 4 gas stations at the corner, and this is something that you see all over the United States, you are competing with each other, and therefore there's a lowering of prices. When you have collusion like what I'm dealing with here in Canada, the prices never go down. And so therefore everybody's price of gas is identical. You do not create a competitive landscape where consumers benefit if you control. And that's what Mamdani wants. What DeSantis wants is no control. He wants to let the market go free. And that's a big difference. And free market scares the crap out of socialists. Free market scares the crap out of... Look, you got people at the Washington Post running away, quitting because Bezos wants to promote free market enterprise. And these socialists in these newspapers don't want to know from this. It's wrong. It's bad. You guys don't understand economics if you keep saying it's bad. Because if you create a market in which people spend, Stuart, then you have more money, and then you can invest more money in education and healthcare and all the rest of that. But instead, what you have is the smoke and mirrors that the Democrats like to play with, as we saw with the big beautiful bill here, is, oh, look, millions won't get Medicaid. Again, you didn't fill in the blanks, you didn't explain what was going on, and you lied to the people. And
Yep.
what you want is to say, collect more money so we can spend more money in bad places so that you can get more votes. It is not about making society better. What DeSantis is saying is really simple. I got the best state, and I'm going to make it even better. This is smart. Okay, this is not a guy who's going to be the governor for the rest of his life. This is a guy who's preparing Florida for 2030, for 2040. Not what we're seeing in New York, which is taking New York from 2025 to 1895. We're not going forward in New York. And that is what's going to end up happening to the great city of New York, New York. And don't be surprised if Wall Street suddenly says, we're out of here, we're going to Miami.
But Wall Street has been pulling an exit strategy out of New York since September 11th. In September 11th, which again, it's very key that I bring this up for maybe a rant later on this week. But from September 11th to now, Goldman Sachs, back then was Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers.
11th? You're talking about 9/11, right?
Yep, 9/11.
Okay. Yep.
Post 9/11, all major Wall Street firms started their exit of New York on having all of their headquarters and all of their departments reside into a single city, because the risk that came out of those terrorists that came from what country or what countries and what
Middle East, all of the Middle Eastern. Yeah.
The international Antifada against the big Satan, the United States, from 2001 prompted all banking institutions to diversify across the United States. So that being said, this has already happened. The push to Florida went insane during COVID, because no one wanted to be locked up in their California house, their Florida house,
their New York house, their Philadelphia house,
Massachusetts house. They wanted out. They wanted to be free. And you know what? Free and fair is what DeSantis, I believe, is pushing. And I think this is the top one pick for a leaving governor to have a legacy like this. I think is utterly brilliant, because you know what? He's not running for re-election. He's done. So he's getting to close out his governorship by really fulfilling his promises to make Florida great again.
But here's the thing. What you just said is really incredible, right? What do you normally see? Give me another mandate and look what I'll do for you. He doesn't have another mandate. And yet, he's, like I said, he's preparing Florida for 2030. Look, we're talking about an aging population that will eventually die off, people. Let's get real. Baby boomers are going, okay? These are people in their 70s and 80s and even in older, and they're dying. And eventually, you need to bring in more people into Florida. And yes, you can rely on Canadians and South Americans and Europeans to buy condos and whatever in Florida. And that's wonderful, but that's not the only industry. You'll need to fill up Florida. You'll need to get more people to come down there. And the reality is that if I have to pay a tax, now there is talk about what we call here in Montreal a welcome tax. Is like you buy a home and you pay a tax one time because you just bought a home. We kind of fuck you, welcome to the community. But he says there's no more property taxes. There are a lot of ideas. What he's done is he's spurned a conversation about making things more attractive for all. Whereas Mamdani is only interested in screwing rich people, screwing Jews, screwing white people. When you sit there and you say, we're going to create tax zones based on race and color of skin, this is the mindset versus a guy in Florida who's saying everybody is going to have an equal opportunity to buy. Like, imagine, if you will, you said 30% don't own a home. Why? In many cases, because they can't afford the taxes. What if you got rid of those taxes? What if you got rid of some of those, and it would create this incredible boom, housing boom, economic boom? I mean, to me, It's a win-win in Florida.
You
Stuart,
know, David, I think what I want to do post this rant is I want to model out groceries, gas, and everyday life's purchases against how much property tax of a median home would be.
take a gander at it, because some numbers are posted right now, and there's where the controversy lies: is how do we offset some of the expenses? Where is the money going to come from, and so on and so forth. That's the controversial side of it. And I think but it's a great dialogue to have. Stuart, last word to you, my friend, as we wrap up the week.
It's Friday.
Goodbye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it.
And before David cuts me off and I play the music, I want to wish everyone a very happy and healthy weekend. May the sun shine, may it be dry, and may you be able to enjoy these extended summer hours doing whatever you're doing.
All right, guys, that's it for another week of the Rant Network. We hope you've enjoyed it today. Guys, we're on YouTube. Please check us out on our YouTube channel. We've got a great channel, our great website at rantnetwork.com. We really, really do appreciate your support. Come on, folks. You got to like us, love us. You got to share us. People really, even the haters love us. It's something for them to get mad at. It's great. Well, on that note,